So I started this as a hobby and now, well, it's become like a very nice side hustle for me. Did I know it was my calling? I don't know. If you have the skills and if there's demand for it, know how to price yourself. Which is why I call myself a voice actor and not a voiceover artist. I will give you a commission. So that'll be nice. Keep rolling. Curious about career in voice acting? Let's talk. My name is Supral Raj Joshi, and among other things, I'm a voice actor, and I've been doing this for about 14 years now.
Supral ji, welcome to Mentor Mantra Career Series. Your career series ma we'll be talking about the field you're in, isma raheko career opportunities, growth, plus the insights for people interested in a career as a voice actor.
Thank you for having me here today.
As a voice actor, तपाईको journey कसरी सुरु भयो? Did you always know this was your calling?
So मैले चाहिँ 2011 मा रेडियो जोइन गरेँ. So मेरो रेडियो करियर र मेरो voice acting करियर चाहिँ सँगसँगै सुरु भयो. And well, रेडियो जोइन गर्नुभन्दा अगाडि नै चाहिँ मलाई साथीहरूले अनि यसो म रेडियो शोजहरुमा कल इन पनि गर्थेँ एज अ टिनेजर. त्यो बेला पनि जो like the radio host हुनुहुन्थ्यो उहाँहरूले पनि oh you should be on the radio भनेर भन्नुहुन्थ्यो. So did I know it was my calling? I don't know. I thought I could do it, and when I had the opportunity, I took it, and I have not had to look back.
14 वर्षदेखि यही फिल्डमा हुनुहुन्छ. के कुराले तपाईलाई इन्स्पायर्ड अनि मोटिभेटेड राख्छ?
So one of the first things that people notice about me is my voice. And voice acting is, I think it's a very important, very big part of my identity. So त्यो भएकोले पनि, and also I think 80 वर्ष काम गरिसकेपछि अलिकति मेरो negotiating power पनि बढेको छ. So I'm making decent money out of it. So financially it's rewarding, and more than that I enjoy doing it.
Then is this career sustainable, working as a freelancer or even side gig?
As a side gig, definitely yes. But I don't think anywhere in the world it's possible to do this full time unless you are in Hollywood.
पहिला सुरु गर्दाको टाइममा कसरी आफुलाई फाइनान्शियली सस्टेन गर्नुहुन्थ्यो?
So मैले सुरु गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I was a student, and I think it was an advantage to me धेरै कुरामा, किन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ I did not have to worry about the finances. So it gave me the liberty to experiment, put myself out there. So रमाइलो हिसाबले स्टार्ट गर्यो, and हुँदा चाहिँ now I get to call myself a professional.
What does the money ladder look like in voice acting, let's say from being a beginner to being an expert?
Okay, so when I first started, 2011 मा मैले start गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ मेरो first project चाहिँ it was for an insurance company. I was in the recording booth for about 5 minutes. अनि मलाई त्यति बेलाको पारिश्रमिक अहिलेसम्म पनि याद छ. I got 1,000 rupees. So that was my first pay as a voice actor / voiceover artist. अनि अब as a freelancer, there isn't like a ladder per se. So freelancing गर्दाखेरि creatives-हरुले चाहिँ I think you need to know your worth and have you need to know how to price yourself, and I think that's more important. So if you have the skills and if there's demand for it, know how to price yourself.
And how about you? What does your highest earning look like till date?
So I started this as a hobby, and now, well, it's become like a very nice side hustle for me. Highest paid project. So Nepal ko bhanda pani bairako projects are much more interesting in terms of finances. I did a project for someone who found me online. So I don't even remember creating an account on some random website for voice acting. And then this client reached out to me, and it was for an INGO based in the UK. And let's just say it was quite comfortable money. You get paid royalties, usage ko pani you get paid, like if it's online or if it's TV. So Nepali ma convert garदाखेरि around 6 figures for a single project that took me 45 minutes to do.
आफ्नो करियरको अर्ली स्टेजेसमा कस्तो च्यालेन्जेसहरु फेस गर्नुभयो अनि हाउ डिड यु ओभरकम देम?
Challenges को कुरा गर्नु पर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I feel like नेपालमा चाहिँ the market is very small and there's not a lot of interesting things to do. So for many years I was just stuck doing commercials. So ad बाहेक अरु खासै प्रोजेक्टहरु हुँदैन थियो. So the money is okay, and like as a pocket change को लागि चाहिँ राम्रै हुन्थ्यो. तर I think it kind of gets repetitive. अनि म बाहिर गएपछि चाहिँ I had chance to experiment with other industries like video games. I love doing voiceover for video games. So त्योहरु गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अझ अलिकति you get to experiment, and I think that's an area where I really shine, which is why I call myself a voice actor and not a voiceover artist.
अहिले पनि यो च्यालेन्जेसहरु रेलेभेन्ट छ त?
In some ways, yes. Nepalko market ma चाहिँ I think we're still your voiceover industry or like most of the creative industry, we're still focused on catering to the local market. So बाहिर हामीले त्यति हेर्न सकेका छैनौं. You know, I mean, in the tech sector, yes, we are outsourcing, but I think in the creative field as well, there is great potential for outsourcing. And you know, if we can get big projects from बाहिरको देशहरू अनि हाम्रो पोलिसिजहरू पनि अलिकति फेभरेबल भएर बाहिरको क्लाइन्ट्सहरू चाहिँ यहाँ आउने अलिकति वेलकमिङ वातावरण भयो भने चाहिँ I think that's going to be much more interesting and we can overcome this challenge of boredom.
तपाईले आफ्नो इनिशियल डेजहरुमा प्रोफेसनल ट्रेनिङको लागि इन्भेस्ट गर्नुभयो कि यु मोस्टली रिलाइड अन सेल्फ टट मेथड्स एन्ड प्र्याक्टिसेस?
I thought I could do it and I did it. So मलाई चाहिँ म गर्न सक्छु जस्तो लाग्यो अनि त्यही भएर मैले यसमा हात हाले. प्रोफेसनल ट्रेनिङ मैले अहिलेसम्म कुनै पनि लिएको छैन भनेर भन्दाखेरि पनि हुन्छ. So most of it was like, you know, on the job. I've just been fortunate that I auditioned for many types of things and जहाँ मैले चाहिँ like when I now landed the role, it's been a learning experience. So I would say a lot of it has been like on the job training.
If someone is starting now, do you recommend professional training?
I think this is one of those things that I get asked a lot. Ani, it's like singing. Can you sing? Like, you know, if you can't sing, don't sing. if you can voice act, do it. But you know, I think a lot of this is you feel चाहिँ मलाई चाहिँ जसले पनि गर्न सक्छु जस्तो लाग्छ, जस्तो feel हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ, especially young people who want to make a quick buck. Everybody thinks they can do it, but I think it's again like an art form and. I don't know. First, you need to have the basics covered, and then you can build on that.
Looking back at your early days, के कुरा चाहिँ डिफरेंट गर्न सकिन्थ्यो होला जस्तो लाग्छ?
I mean, in other aspects of life, मेरो जीवनको अरु पक्षहरुमा चाहिँ मैले अझ धेरै कुराहरु राम्रो गर्न सक्थे होला, तर voice acting कै बारेमा मात्र कुरा गर्नु पर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I think I worked with whatever resources I had, whatever connections I had. So, would I do things differently? Probably not. No.
What 3 core skills are essential to become a successful voice actor?
Voice, acting, and also maybe PR. Be nice to people you work with.
And while learning and experimenting with those skills, minimal equipment सँग कसरी सुरु गर्न सकिन्छ and does it impact the learning process?
Okay, so पहिला सुरु याद गर्नुपर्ने चाहिँ and this is a challenge. Noise proof like environment चाहिँ चाहियो तपाईलाई. So, you know, if you're in a noisy room, you can't really do it. So, you know, try and do that first. Find a room that works for you, or like if possible, if you have access to a studio, that's great. But a studio छैन भने पनि like noise cancellation is the biggest challenge. अनि अर्को भनेको echo cancellation हो. Just use your closet. Like, you know, don't think too much about it. त्यो एक कार्टन्सहरु गरे पनि हुन्छ, तर दराजमै राखेर पनि मैले धेरै वर्ष रेकर्ड गरे. So, you know, there is that. And minimal equipment. USB mic, invest in a good mic. I personally use Rode NT USB 2.0, which I bought in 2018. Very sturdy mic. Ani मैले 2018 भनेपछि अहिले कति भयो? So it's been like 7 years, almost 7 years since I bought it. Great investment. Like the money I spent on the mic, I made that in like the first 2 weeks. So that was great.
Starting to find networks or gigs, कस्तो strategies worked best for you? Any specific platform or ways of reaching out that helped?
So when I started out, early days of the internet, right? अब आजभन्दा धेरै वर्ष अगाडिको कुरा हो. So you actually had to meet people. अनि म रेडियो लाइनमै भएकोले अलिकति सजिलो पनि भयो. You get to meet people, especially अब नेपालमा, like I said earlier, most of the voiceover work I do is for advertisements. So, you know, advertising agencies-हरुसँग अलिकति contact build भइसकेपछि चाहिँ त्यहाँबाट recording studios-हरुबाट that's how I started out. अनि अहिले चाहिँ I think things are a bit different. You can do what I did. So a couple of years ago, COVID, 2021, I made a show reel of all the work that I'd done, posted it on Instagram, and that actually put me out there again. So अलिकति ब्रेक जस्तो भएको थियो मेरो, म विदेशमा पलायन भएकोले, so मेरो voice over work चाहिँ नेपालको चाहिँ अलिकति पज भइरहेको थियो. And after I was back, I made a show reel, posted it on Instagram, and it got decent views. And त्यसपछि, you know, I had something to show for myself as well. So you could do that too. Make a show reel. I think like nobody else has done that here.
नेपालमा voice acting industry को evolution कस्तो छ?
Stagnant, I would say. Still, I mean, is there an industry is a question first, because most of it is just ad agencyहरू नै सँग काम गर्ने हो, adsहरूमै बोल्ने हो. So is there really an industry though? Because variety त्यति छैन हाम्रो काममा चाहिँ. So I would say, you know, people are still doing voice over work and there aren't a lot of opportunities to do actual voice acting.
Schools or colleges may हुँदाखेरि how can students get started?
Buy a USB mic and experiment. अहिले त आफै you can create content. You don't have to rely on people to give you jobs. Make content, put yourself out there and see if people like you. If people like you, you can actually make money out of this.
नेपालको कन्टेक्स्टमा voice actorsले कस्तो प्रोजेक्ट्सहरू पाउँछन्?
Just ads mostly. कहिलेकाहीँ short filmsहरूमा पनि काम गर्छु तर mostly it's just ads. And documentaries also.
How do you find clients or projects in this field?
I've been fortunate that over the past couple of years, मेरो आफ्नै network चाहिँ अलिकति strong भइसकेको छ. So people actually come looking for me, which is very nice. Sometimes I will get a random call and somebody wants a project done. मेरो कतिजना clientहरू, I've not even met them आजसम्म पनि अनि हामी काम गरेको 2-3 वर्ष भइसक्यो.
So is this career as glamorous as it sounds or अरू aspectsहरू नै छ जुन बाहिरबाट थाहा नहुन सक्छ?
Is it glamorous? I don't know, but it's a fun thing to do. Ani कहिलेकाहीँ challengesहरू हुन्छ. Sometimes, clients will ask for revisions. Ani sometimes people who have no idea what they're doing want to be a little creative. So, there are challenges like that.
With your language expertise, तपाईले नेपाल बाहिरको पनि experiences-हरु गरिसक्नु भएको छ. How did you come across these opportunities in foreign countries?
I went abroad for studies. म पलायन भएँ केही वर्ष. So I was in a few cities in China. अनि कुनै ठाउँ चाहिँ like particularly like Chengdu was very very interesting because so universities where like studios sourced international voices. So university को बाहिर ad हुन्थ्यो voice actor needed and I was like, hey, I do that back home. म घरमा नि यही काम गर्थेँ so I can try this out भनेर auditionsहरू गर्न थालेँ and like people were just expecting like a normal student voice and I go up there and they're like, oh, you sound very professional. So त्यसपछि धेरै connectionsहरू build हुँदै गयो. It also helps that everything happens on WeChat in China. So कताबाट WeChat groupsहरूबाट, and also looking on like expat websites. That's how I got into that market. Although that work has dried up since COVID. So त्यो COVID भन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ heavily relied on that work.
How likely is it for experienced voice actors to get such international gigs?
I think it's very hard to get international gigs without actually being in the countries. So if I'd never been to China, I don't think I would have cracked into that market. I've been meaning to crack into the Indian markets, but I've never been to India. So I don't know. If somebody can tell me how to do that, I will give you a commission. So that'll be nice.
One final mantra for aspiring voice artists, जुनले तपाईलाई help गरेको छ, but it is less likely to be shared in the industry.
I think not just for voice artists, but for all creatives, I think my mantra would be know your worth. Because, you don't want to be stuck in like, यसपालि काम गरौँ अनि पछि मिलाउँला. Don't be stuck in that. Know your worth, know how to set your prices, take a stance, and, respect yourself. That's what I would say.
All right. That was it for part 1. Obviously, we'll be moving forward with the rapid fire round. So let's keep the answers as brief as possible. So first question, your way. If you have to explain your career in a kid's classroom, how would you do it?
Animated movieहरू तिमीहरूले हेर्ने कार्टुनहरूमा आवाज कसरी आउँछ थाहा छ? त्यो क्यारेक्टरहरूको आवाज कसले गर्छ थाहा छ? मस्त मान्छेहरूले गर्छ.
Do you need a specific voice type or can anyone train and adapt to their voice?
Hard to answer. That I've been fortunate that I have a baritone voice, which people seem to like. So I guess this is an advantage, I would say.
What's one thing people misunderstand about being a voice actor?
That it is very easy to do.
If you could voice for one dream brand or film, what would it be?
Probably like a big Hollywood animated production.
Which voiceover genre is the toughest to crack?
Video games. Super hard.
Most rewarding feedback you've received?
So China mein हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ I've seen directors like be very happy with my demos. So at one point I worked with a director and she just started jumping because like she just fell in love with me and I'd spent like 10 minutes at the recording booth. That was incredible.
Script reading, instinct or preparation?
Instinct.
One underrated skill every voice actor should have?
Acting. I think, yeah, acting is a very, very important aspect of this profession.
If you had to start over with a minimal budget, what would your first steps be in getting into the industry?
Buy a USB mic.
If your career was a voiceover tagline, what would it be?
Keep rolling.
And now it's time for the priority game. A board will be given to you with a few key elements related to voice acting, and we expect you to rank them based on your experience.
Okay.
You'll be placing the most crucial one at number 1, followed by the rest. Let's see what holds the most importance.
So, okay. I think it's very important to be adaptable because I work with a variety of clients. This morning I did a voiceover for an energy drink. And sometimes I have to be very serious and somber. So I think this is very important because this gives you a lot of leeway in what kind of projects you can do. So you can expand your scope. I think adaptability is very important. Vocal range and stamina. Again, acting, it's an important aspect of it. So the more range you have, and the more range you have, the more variety of work you can do. Stamina, I would say, TK. I mean, don't work for more than 3 hours a day if you're doing this seriously, because like there have been projects where I was like dubbing for TV series, but it's impossible to do serious voice work for more than 4 hours a day. Script interpretation, this is, I would say, a challenge. You have to go back and forth with the client because the client wants one thing sometimes and you're doing it some way. So you pani alikati, I think it's an important aspect. And you would say, I think this and this come along. Like sometimes you really need to understand where the client is coming from. And the client is not always right, but sometimes you gotta make them feel like they're right. Voice training, I would say it's the least important skill. If you've got nothing to work with, training is not gonna help. So that's what I'm gonna say. That's the long and short of it. That's the hard truth. Okay.
Well, that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. I hope this gives our audience some valuable takeaways.
All right, thank you for having me. And I think it was okay. It wasn't amazing. It was okay. All right, thank you so much.
Don't forget to subscribe, give a like, and hit the bell icon to get the notification every time we upload the video.